With 2024 officially gone, here are the top lessons and thoughts that I've gathered in 2024. Number one, you can only plan so much before you have to take action. 2024 for me was a year of planning and a lot of research and trying to craft the best path forward, whether in my career or in my hobbies or passions or my writing or making videos. And what I did is I made great plans but took very little action. And that is something that I am actively working on, and I think I've made a lot of strides there, but don't try to see the end from the beginning, just make a plan good enough to get you going, and you'll figure it out as you get going. Number two, a lot of my problems have been solved simply by exercising, getting enough sleep, and eating healthy. And a lot of times when I'm frustrated or stressed about something, all I need to do is have a good, strong workout or go to bed. And when I wake up in the morning, the problem just isn't that big of a deal anymore, or I have enough energy to go and tackle the problem. Number three, your environment influences your life more than anything else, so craft it accordingly. Where you live and how you've structured where you live really does make a huge impact in your life. What you have in your fridge, what you have in your pantry, what kind of shows you watch, what you have on your phone, what you have on your computer, how you organize your desk or how you organize your room is really going to have a big effect on how you think, your mood, and how productive you are. So craft your life and craft your environment in a way that enhances good habits and behaviors and will get you to where you want to go instead of distracting you and holding you back. Number four comes from Alex Hormozi. Just because you have free time doesn't mean that anyone who asks for it is entitled to it. So this is all about just time management and using your time in the way that you want to use it and not in the way that other people think that you should use it. A lot of times people will ask you what you've got going on, and if you say nothing, they see that as an invitation to ask you to do something or ask for your time. And that's something that I really want to be conscious of moving into 2025, is making sure that my time is used the way that I want to. Number five, you're in the good old days right now. A lot of times we get caught up in looking towards the future. We get caught up looking for goals that we want to achieve, where we want to be, how much money we want to make, the job we want to have. I could go on. But looking down the road in 5, 10, 15, 30 years, I know that I'm going to look back on where I am right now and I'm going to say, those were the good old days, and be nostalgic and reminisce over the struggle, over the goal chasing and all that stuff. It's just a different approach to how I view the time I'm in right now. Of course, I'm going to be working towards goals, working towards things and achieving. However, enjoying the journey, enjoying the grind, and just being happy with what I'm doing right now. Number six, walking enhances creativity and brings new, fresh ideas. When you walk, or when you're active in general, your brain is more active. And so, when you look at a chart that shows your brain activity after 20 minutes of sitting quietly and 20 minutes after a walk, you see that your brain is so much more active after being active. And so activity breeds activity in your brain. You have better ideas, you're more creative, and I find that when I'm walking at least 10,000 steps a day, going on several walks, one right in the morning when I wake up, a mid-morning walk, and an afternoon walk, I'm way more creative, my ideas are way better, and as I talk through some ideas that I'm having, I find a lot of new ideas and that I'm really excited about. In fact, I just got back from a mile-long walk before I sat down to record this video, so my mind would be active and I would have better attention and be able to get through what I want to better, and it's working. Number seven, complaining gets you nowhere. Just suck it up and figure it out. There was a time in 2024 where I would come home from work and I would be really frustrated with some things that were going on, and I would find myself complaining quite a bit. A lot of the things that I was complaining about weren't things that I could actually change. And I just realized that if I can do something about a problem in my life, I just need to do it. I need to suck it up and figure it out and make the change that I want to make. And if I can't make any change, or if I don't have control over the situation, to just let it go, because it's just going to complicate my life and just stress me out and take energy away from things that I actually want to be doing. Number 8, we've become too soft. Seek discomfort and make yourself work. A few months ago, I had ankle surgery to repair a ligament that I tore playing basketball. And leading up to the surgery, I needed to make a decision whether I was going to get some crutches or if I was going to use a scooter to get around for 3 weeks while I was not able to put weight on my ankle. And I had a lot of people tell me that I should get the scooter because it's easier, my body's going to be recovering, I don't need to stress it out anymore. But what I ended up doing was using the crutches. And the reason I did that was because I wanted to make it difficult as I could, and I wanted to challenge myself, and I wanted to take the harder path and not the easier one. I think that generally people are too soft. We seek comfort over discomfort. We want the easy path. We want the good tasting food or the fatty food or the easy meal. We want what's easy, and we're not willing to do the hard things. So that's what I learned in 2024, and in 2025, I will absolutely be seeking discomfort. Number 9, focus and clarity usually come by elimination, not addition. I find that when I add things into my life, inevitably things get more complicated. That's not always a bad thing, but if I'm looking to have better focus and better clarity, the answer for me is always reduction. It is to remove things from my life, remove things from my routine, remove projects that I'm working on, and just make it easier to focus on fewer things for longer periods of time. Number 10 is a quote that I saw earlier in the year on Instagram. It said, "Every meal you eat is a short-term investment in how you feel and perform, a mid-term investment in how you look, and a long-term investment in your freedom from disease." And I believe that everything in life follows this pattern. There is a short-term, a mid-term, and a long-term impact to every decision you make. A lot of times, this isn't that big of a deal. You can just make a decision and it generally doesn't matter. But for the bigger decisions, the financial decisions, the health and wellness decisions, the career decisions, if you can shift your brain into thinking short, mid, and long term, you will overall make better decisions. A lot of people want instant gratification. They want things now. They want to satisfy that dopamine hit now. And it is always at a detriment to the mid and long term. So if you can think with a long-term perspective, you will generally be making better decisions overall. The last one is number 11, and that is let your weirdness work for you. The very first YouTube video that I made on this channel a month ago was all about focusing on yourself and not worrying what other people think about you. And that whole idea is encapsulated in let your weirdness work for you. Embrace what makes you weird, embrace what makes you different, and just have fun and worry about yourself and not anybody else. So those are the top lessons that I learned in 2024. And moving into 2025 with the new goals that I have a little bit different approach that I'd like to share. Here's what I used to do with my goals. I used to list all the things I wanted to do. I made a rough plan, and then I just went for it. I would start out kind of like a match, burning nice and bright, but then I would just fizzle out some months later. I feel like most people do this. If you want a good example of this, just go to any gym and be there January and February, and you will see a ton of people that are there every day. They're working for it. And then slowly as time goes on, fewer and fewer people show up. And by March, you're back to the same crew who was there before the year started. So setting goals in the traditional sense doesn't really work for me. And that's the way that generally people say it's a SMART goal. That generally doesn't work for me. And so what I am focusing on more is growth over outcomes, where I'm focusing on more of the growth and the progress that I see from a day-to-day, a week-to-week perspective, instead of only looking at the long-term objective that I'm trying to meet. So knowing that growth and improvement is really important to me, here is how I'm going to use that to my advantage moving forward with my goals in 2025. So number 1 is I'm still going to identify the outcome that I would like to have, but I'm also going to be very careful with who I tell. What happens when you start talking about your goals and your ambitions are people generally are very positive and they say, that is so awesome, good job, I'm happy for you, work, get after it. And what you're doing is receiving a lot of positive feedback for something that you haven't even achieved yet. And so you're getting the dopamine for something that you haven't done. And it actually is demotivating because you've already gotten the reward in large part before you even achieved anything. So I'll be very careful with who I tell. Number 2 is I'll make a rough plan on how to get there, and I will not let this be a weakness. I will just make a plan good enough so I can get going and at least take a few steps in the right direction. Number 3, I'm going to use the excitement of achievement that I usually feel when I make these plans. I'm going to let that carry me through the first few weeks. And after a couple weeks, I'm going to measure my growth. I don't care if it's a very small amount. I just want to see a little bit of growth in the direction that I'm looking. And I know that if I see that, I'll be really excited and I can take that momentum and every couple weeks check in and keep moving forward in the direction that I'd like. And last and most important is adjusting my goals as needed. As the growth I see comes, maybe I decide that I want to tweak what I'm going to do or the direction that I want to go, or maybe something is not working at all. And if that's the case, I need to be flexible enough to change direction so I can still be successful and all my hard work isn't for nothing. So I really like this strategy right now because I think it plays to my strengths and my nature as a person. And I think that's how goals should be. I make a plan, which I love doing. I track it, which I'm good at. And I know that once I see some results, I'm going to be hungry for more and that momentum will build. And once I get that, it's really hard to stop. One of the biggest mistakes that I see people make is they think that somebody else's approach is going to guarantee them results. And I think this is the wrong way of going about things. I think the key is to look at other people that you want to emulate, successful people that have achieved a lot already, and take their mindset and approach and apply that with what you know about yourself. Frameworks and strategies are great, but exact application of those things that you're taking from somebody else and applying to you is likely not going to work because we are all different and we're all unique. So taking the method and the mindset over the exact way that they carry it out is going to be more beneficial to you moving forward. So once again, growth over outcome is the name of the game for 2025. So let's make this year a year of growth and momentum. For those of you interested, I have a weekly newsletter called The Life Draft that I publish every Saturday morning where I talk about personal growth, creativity, and drafting a life that you love. So if that's interesting to you, check it out in the link below and subscribe for more videos like this.